This third generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. When I tell you this is premium, I mean premium. The battery will last 90 minutes, so you can take a longer shave. The waterproof technology also allows you to groom in the shower. And one of the coolest features is the LED light, which illuminates grooming areas for a closer, more precise cut. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code Illini at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use code Illini. That's ILLINI. Your balls will thank you.
What's good, Illini Nation? It's your man in the middle, Deon Thomas. Hey, coming to you today from the bowels of the State Farm Center as I get ready to broadcast tonight's basketball game against Penn State. But as always, I bring you nothing but the best, and the best is what we have tonight. We have, and I still can't believe it, and I know he's going to say that it's okay, he's going to downplay it, but he's still the all-time leader in assists and the all-time leader in steals. Talking about a two-way player. We got one of my favorite players and favorite people that has ever graduated out of the University of Illinois. Let's just say it. Let's walk in this earth. We got Mr. Bruce Douglas tonight joining us. So, Bruce, how you doing, big fella?
Hey, Deon, I'm doing great. And, man, I need to take you around a lot of places with me. That kind of introduction, I wish I could live up to that. But, no, I'm doing well, and I'm grateful to be here with you and spend some time with you tonight.
Oh, no, it's truly my pleasure, believe me. As you and I have had discussions over the years, man, I know in my heart of hearts, you are one of the jewels, not just of the University of Illinois, but of state of Illinois basketball, man. I mean, a lot of people, of course, may not remember what you did. I mean, how you led that Quincy team to not just the state championship, but a national championship.
Yeah, I was blessed, man. We were fortunate to grow up, first of all, in a great place for basketball. Quincy's a nice community, great family community, just big enough to produce some athletes and small enough to keep a community that supports it all the time. So, yeah, no question. Michael Payne, my older brother, Keith, Dennis, just a lot of great players that came out during that era. And I was fortunate enough to be on a team that came together. We were together since fourth, fifth grade. We were playing organized basketball and growing up under Cheryl Hanks and Jerry Leggett, just great coaches of the game. And then, coming from a family of athletes and a mother and father that really instilled work ethic and purpose into my life. And so I was able to use that basketball as a tool to help me develop not just my skills in life, but my attitude and my heart, my commitment toward becoming who I am today. So it was great. And yeah, Quincy, we had a great team. We played some great teams, a lot of great Chicago teams then. And no question about it, we were national champions, and that's one of the highlights of my career, and did it for one of the great basketball beds in Illinois, in Quincy. And so I hold that in high esteem.
I mean, you 123-5. That's your record while at Quincy. Man, that is absolutely amazing. You didn't just do it as a scorer. You were also a defender. I mean, you did everything pretty much on the floor to lead that Quincy team to the heights that they came to. What was your mentality, thought process? What was something that the coaches gave to you, or even your parents gave to you, that spurred you on to that level of greatness?
Well, first of all, you're right. It's a lot of people influence that, but it started at home. I grew up in a family of 10, man. So we were competitive. I had my older brothers were all state football players, basketball players. And the one thing that I learned at home, it was not so much about the winning as it was the sharing. And so you learn to share. And so as I grew up competitive in the game, wanting to share and have everybody involved, but winning was the ultimate goal. And so growing up in a competitive home, I always wanted to win. I competed against my older brothers. And so my mom and dad kind of instilled that winning attitude, but that graciousness about sharing. And so my philosophy was always to try to make other people better. And so on the court, as I developed and grew up under some great coaches that had great strategies about winning, so the preparation was always key. And so I became a perfectionist early on in my life and on the court. And as I grew, those things, attention to detail, making sure everybody was where they should be. And then if you got there, rewarding people for being there. So all of those things kind of, built into my makeup as I grew up. And I just didn't like to lose neither. I was willing to do whatever it took. And so to me, it was always about just doing the best you could, playing the best you can, playing the hardest you can. And the score always took care of itself. And so I was fortunate enough to be on the winning side, but more because I tried to achieve excellence than I did trying to win games.
So you like me are a younger brother. You mentioned your brother was playing football. My brother was a football player as well. And I can say for myself, it added to my toughness because my older brother used to kick my butt all the time. It would really push me, not just on the athletic field, but this is like, I'm talking about like fighting. Like where we grew up, you can't be soft. Were your older brothers on you like me, or was that just, I don't think my brother was the only one.
No, dude, that was I think that was the culture then. But I took a lot of whoopings, and I fought back a whole lot. I was number 9 out of 10, and so yeah, I had a lot of brothers that definitely took me to the court early and taught me a lot of lessons. I was fortunate enough to play with my older brother in high school on the state, and we lost the state championship after having a 32-0. And then the next year I played a couple years later with my younger brother. And so what that really did, I learned a lot from my older brother. He was very protective, but learned a whole lot, and then was able to see how important it is to exemplify the kind of attitude to when you lose something and have to come back and win, and then how to win something and to be gracious and to continue winning. So I got that kind of good blend between having family in between me, that one pushed me and beat up on me, and then one, I was reminded that I got somebody behind me and I need to keep being the right kind of example for him. And so that family factor really played in big. And of course I had support from all of my brothers and sisters, as well as my mother and father. And so all those things built into it. But growing up in a great history and a great tradition has a lot to do with, with your expectation. And so that just helped to continue to keep me at a high level of expectation of what I need to do, not just on the court, but off the court. And in those days, you had to have the right kind of conduct off the court in order to get on the court. So all of those things factored into to what I was able to do on the court successfully.
Yeah, you definitely had to be coachable. As they'll call it today, is to be coachable. But it sounded like to me, I mean, you were basically from home, as to all of the teaching, you were groomed to be a point guard before you probably even picked up a basketball. As you mentioned, the competitive fire came from your parents, came from your brothers, being able to hold yourself to a higher standard by both your parents and your brothers. And then as you moved into the basketball court, but as you mentioned, your family, a family of 10, you have to be able to share. So sharing the basketball and sharing responsibilities and leadership when you stepped on the basketball court definitely fed into you becoming the great point guard that you did.
Oh, no question about it. I mean, I was born to be a point guard. There's no question. And I think as those things are instilled into your character and into your heart, you start to have a certain meaningful relationships that you build with people on the court. And so I naturally had some of those. Some of those are just a gift from God. As as you grow, you realize. But being able to get along, being able to get people to do things, being able to get people to come together, those things were just a benefactor of growing up in a big family, and then being able to take that on a big stage like a basketball court, and to apply those principles, the attitude, the teamwork, the unselfishness. Those things were they came natural to me. So yeah, being a point guard, I couldn't dream of being anything else. I did like to score, but I took as much pleasure in an assist as I did a score, because I saw them equally valuable in the outcome, which is winning basketball games.
Yeah, and you took the words right out of my mouth. You averaged almost 19, 20 points a game in high school. Of course, to mention all of the defensive things that you did with steals and assists. You go on to be a McDonald's All-American. For these people that may not know, a parade All-American, which was almost as, as highly valued as being a McDonald's All-American. And you took which led to 123 wins against only 5 losses, a 64 game high school win streak. And your point guard's the leader on the court, man. And I know you're an extension of the coach. So a lot of that on the court is definitely on you. As I mentioned, I don't think people in this state give you enough love as they should. But you take all of those accomplishments to the University of Illinois, playing under, what your coach and my coach, Lou Henson. What was of course, when coach started recruiting you, was there other institutions that you were interested in? I mean, especially being in state, or was Illinois how did Illinois become that destination for you?
Well, I think there was other schools definitely I was interested in the very beginning of the process. But you named all of the things that just made Illinois like home for me. I won 123 games. I was well known in the state. I had built a lot of relationships with people in the state. And I'm one of those state guys, I'm a homeboy. I'm like, hey, I wanted to see Illinois be successful. But that kind of, of course, as Coach Henson started to recruit me, that kind of grew on me. In the beginning, I was open to other schools. Surely DePaul was doing well then. Indiana, of course, Bobby Knight came into my home. I had, every coach come into my home, and I visited Michigan State, some other Big Ten schools, and but Illinois, just as my career grew, it was one of those places that it just had my name written on it, and I started to fall in love with it. And then Coach Henson, of course, came on the scene with Coach Nagy recruiting me, and of course Coach Yates was there then, and then Coach Collins came in. But I mean, it was the right atmosphere. It was the right time. Mm-hmm. It was a place that was like, looking. It had everything you would want. They weren't as successful at that point as we wanted to be. And so it was the right place for me, the right time. Derek Harper was already here. So I had someone that I could kind of learn from. And so for me, it was like, it took me, right at the end of my junior year to know that, this is the place for me.
Yeah, I concur on that, especially with when I've made my first visit to campus, man. It felt like home. Was what I would say. It felt like home. And it's great to hear, that, of course, I followed you. I watched you when you were playing here. Of course, that was at the end of Harp's career, the beginning of yours. So I watched you guys earlier on. And you mentioned that DePaul team, of course, Mark Aguirre was from my neighborhood. So when I was coming up, it was watching you guys at Illinois and watching Mark and Terry, who was also from Chicago, watching them guys over at DePaul. But eventually, Illinois won out for both of us. So that's the plus. But you land on campus, your freshman year. You guys are, you get things rolling, and you get things rolling pretty quickly.
Yeah. I tell you, the toughest jump, and that, is coming from high school, even with all your accolades. I was fortunate because I came out of a program that was very progressive, a coach who was very progressive. So, the drills, the strategics, the big crowds, those kind of things I was comfortable with, but and the competition and the work ethic. But there's always the adjustment, just because you're at a new level. And so we had a very a good year, my freshman year, and I came out and I'm really so grateful for me and Derek built a great relationship. my freshman year, but having someone there to bring you along, encourage you during those challenges, but also being there and being able to encourage everyone else. I came from a winning program. When I came to Illinois, I thought nothing but win, win, win. And when we got there during my freshman year, we got into the NCAA tournament. The Big Ten is a tough one. It's a tough league.
Yeah.
And of course, I did lead the Big Ten in assists my freshman year, but it was just a great learning year. And so coming from a winning program, one of the things that I learned to do was not just be coachable, but to learn and absorb, because that is really the key into developing and growing. And so it was a phenomenal year. Ephraim came on, of course, another McDonald All-American, my homie and roomie. And, it was just phenomenal playing with Ephraim and Doug, Scott. We got a lot of freshmen out there and got some time in. And we could see that we had some great things coming in our future while I was at Illinois.
And you definitely have some great things coming. I mean, you come in and you get honorable mention, all Big Ten. I mean, that's huge for a freshman to be able to do that and be able to come in and you lead your team far. You guys get to this game, and I have watched this game on TV. He traveled down in Rump, man. That was a travel.
Yeah. We all agree with that.
That was a travel. And it actually led to them changing the rule, because now you don't play on your own home court. So I look at that as kind of the NCAA saying, well, yeah, that was kind of a homer call. But what does that feel like, you transitioning from a great program at Quincy, coming in and being put in that position already? I mean, elite. I think you finished in the Elite Eight, if I'm not wrong, with that loss. But being able to just have instant success.
Yeah, I think it takes a couple things. One, you have to really stay grounded and focused on what your task is. And I think coming in and having the expectation that we was going to do well, and then growing and being able to continue to develop and get better. And then at the end of the day, just knowing that, hey, our commitment was to being the best we could be, working as hard as you can and playing together as a team. And so the success part of it was something that I expected, and thank God for a family and coaching staff that continue to be able to keep you grounded, man, so that you don't think you're better than you are. You don't think you've done something that you shouldn't have done. And so all of it kind of was just a balance, being able to know that this is what I expected, but to know that it takes a team in order to accomplish great things. And so, of course, we went there, we had a great year, and we wanted to build on it, and you wanted to learn, but it wasn't the championship. We didn't win it all. And so that was still in sight, and that was still something we wanted to do. And so, at like everything else, you deal with those things as they come, you take them graciously, and you continue to stay humble so that you can absorb some of the things that comes with success without forgetting that it is a God-given talent, and it takes support from a whole lot of people to accomplish those kind of great things. So yeah, that's what kind of kept me rooted along the way. But it was it's always a lot of pressure, Deon. As we look at pressure, I just grew up in an atmosphere where pressure was just an opportunity for me to put on display what I could do. I never looked at it as trying to be a failure or a success, just an opportunity for me to succeed. And so I think along the way, developing that at a young age, and then in high school, being able to carry it on, and then into college, it kept me in the right frame of mind as I dealt with those things that come with success and some defeat as well.
Right. Well, that's always one of those things. I used to love my coach, Bob Hambrick, in high school. Used to tell us that pressure does two things. It either busts pipes or it makes diamonds. Which one do you want to be? And I always wanted to be a diamond. So like you, I fed off of that pressure to make myself better, and like you, to try to make my teammates around me better. So you come in as a young point guard. Of course, you have Derek in front of you. Derek leaves. So now you're looked at as being the leader. I mean, because you're point guard. I'm a big guy, and I played the big guy position here, and I'm still going to say the point guard is the leader of the team, even though I was the captain and the oldest on my team. But the point guard is still looked at as the leader on the team. So you coming in, taking over that leadership role as a sophomore. How was that, again, being an extension of Coach Henson on the basketball court? How was that working relationship with Coach? And then how did you guys get that? Because you got it worked all out, because you guys looked great during that time.
Yeah, no question. First of all, you said it, the key is really with the coach, being able to be in tune. Coach Henson was a great person to play for, because he was someone who put trust in his players. He didn't try to take all the credit. He wasn't one of those that, wanted to control everything. But he set great expectations and parameters. Hey, Bruce, when you get out of bounds, he would let you know that. But he gave me the freedom to really develop, and he instilled into me his strategy, his mindset, the way he liked to think, and what I was gifted at doing was being able to take what Coach wanted to do and being able to put that in a vision on the court, so that everybody could kind of fit into the roles that they work best for us to win games. And so you have this relationship with the coach, where the coach is like, listen, I'm entrusting you to go out there and to run my game and to use my strategy. And then you, on the other side, you got your players out here who are looking to you to make sure things are going right. Things, we get down 5 or 6, they're looking to you to make sure we get the good shot, who gets the right shot, who's in the right place. And so you build a lot of trust and relationships in people believing that if they get to where they're supposed to be, if they do what they're supposed to do, you're going to get them the ball. You're going to make sure that things move in the right way so that we can be successful. And so no question that as you take on that leadership role, you take on that accountability that, hey, man, you get open, I'll get you the ball. Hey, I'm looking at you. When I look at you like that, get to the hoop, because I'm going to throw it up. And so you develop these things that are so unique in there. They're almost like reading each other's minds, so that you kind of get to a place where people know this is what I need to do. And when I do that, I know what the outcome is going to be. And so it becomes great when you're like a symphony, when everybody is in the orchestra playing their part. It's just beautiful music. And we had some great years there of playing together.
Well, I tell you this, you were definitely the maestro of maestros, man, when you guys are out there on the court. You mentioned having guys like Ephraim in there. So you had size, you had athleticism, but the team needed a conductor. And that's exactly what you were. I mean, you look like you were controlling your symphony while you out there doing your thing, and it pushes you on. You become the all-time leader at the end of your career in assists, but at the same time, you're the all-time leader in steals. Coming out of high school, you averaged almost 20 points a game. But at Illinois, there was only 1 year that you averaged double figures. Coach Henson used to always say, and he told me once, I had 9 assists one game, and he told me, Deon, that's not your job. Your job is to do this. So when you saw that, did you take that and say, okay, not what Coach Henson said, but this is my job. This is what I have to do. What was your thinking, and how did you come to that understanding? Or was it just something that, of course, from high school and from your past that you had brought with you, but to understand what piece you were to the puzzle?
Yeah, I think you kind of, as you take on the point guard role, especially at the college level, I think you start to try to feel where you're needed most. And so I felt more with the scoring, it was more on a level when we needed it. But as a job overall, we had scorers. We had people that needed the ball. And so I felt, and coach too, that it was the role I was fitting into was one that was going to score less points. Shooting wasn't the first option. But there was days and when coach was one of those that took advantage of matchups, and there was games when I had a matchup that was favorable, and in those games I would have an opportunity to score more. But overall, that just winning became the whole focus for me, and no question that getting less shots was a part of that plan. And I thought it worked out well. All my teammates were people that looked for me to score when it was needed. And over most of the time, they looked for me to get people to the ball that needed to score. And so, yeah, you kind of adjust to that, Deon. You was a scorer, and if you would have been playing with me, dude, you would have got the ball. No question about it. And even though I was capable of scoring points.
Yeah.
That I was playing with some great scorers and some great shooters, and I looked at as my role as getting them the ball and as first and foremost, and secondly, doing whatever I needed to do after that was not available in order for us to win or score, whatever that may take, steal the ball, whatever was needed.
Right. Well, no knock on my point guards, but I can tell you, Bruce, I would have loved to have played with you, man. I would have loved it, bro. Because, yeah, you don't get to be a leader and assist unless you're looking for other people and to make them look good. I might have had 3,000 points if I had played with you, bro.
I would have welcomed it. I would have just had another 500 assists, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you get to your junior senior. I mean, you're the Big Ten Player of the Year defensively, 2 years in a row. I don't know of any time during my era that's been done. So that's huge. But you come to the draft, you get drafted in the third round. Yes, people, there were more than 2 rounds before in the NBA. So you get taken in the third round, which was high because there used to be like 7 rounds, before that. But you get drafted in the third round. But you played 1 year professionally and then in the CBA for a short time. Of course, everybody's idea is get there, stay there forever. What was it that you recognize and say, okay, well, that's not my path. I want to move into something different?
Yeah, like everything in life, I think as you start playing and you grow, for me, it was a spiritual calling. I'm in ministry today, and it kind of the roots of it was building in everything that I did on the court. I love the game. There's no question. I never forget when the year that I decided after that second year, I decided that God had a different purpose or calling on my life, some things that I wanted to do for the kingdom that was changing. And as you grow at peace, I was married to my high school sweetheart, and she was encouraging me and as well. And so all the things that God did on the court, all the wonderful things I experienced, all the great things I developed, really were just tools for ministry, tools for the things that I really felt God had equipped me for. And so I kind of reached this place where I thought, you know what? Hey, I love this game, but I love something more than this. And so we just, collectively made some decisions to move on into some other areas of life. At that time, I never forget, right after I quit Cleveland, I went to Cleveland to their camp, and I said, after that camp, that beginning of the year, I said, you know what, I'm gonna call it quits. They called me like 3 weeks later and wanted to sign me. They had some injury, something happened, and I had told at that time Wayne Embry. I told Wayne, I done made a decision to move on, and I don't want to. One of the tough things about it is that once you make that decision, you got to move. It's like on the court of basketball. You make a decision, you got to go with it. You make a decision to shoot, you got to shoot it. And I had made that decision, and I didn't want to cloud it. I didn't want anything to confuse that. Listen, I know, God, you called me to do this, and I'm going to move forward. And so it's by faith that I did it. But what a great opportunity I had on the court and playing at that level at Sacramento. Had a great experience. And, and so after I spent that time, I was starting a family, and I just had some different things that I felt was being put on my heart and in my mind to accomplish some different purposes. And those things have worked out well for me. And so I transitioned kind of into ministry, bivocational. So I've kind of worked, and I was going back to school for ministry, and working with some youth ministries and doing my basketball camp during that time. I moved into doing that where really for about 12 years, 13 years after that was a great part of me being able to stay connected to the game and to encourage young people and to develop their character and attitude for life by using skills that we had developed on the court.
Yeah, because you did that down in in Quincy, excuse me, for you mentioned like 12 years. So is that what's going on now with that? I mean, I know you and I talked earlier, and your brother had taken it over. Is that still going on? And if so, what can I or those that are listening or anyone that want to continue to encourage young people, because I tell people all the time, they ask me, well, when you came out of high school or college, were you thinking about the NBA? I was like, no, I was thinking about some other things, but yet I used basketball as a way to change my life, which was to get me to college, which was to make myself and my family financially stable. So yeah, I know your brother's still going to, but if there's something, what can we do, or what's going on right now that you're doing that we could possibly be a part of to continue to change the lives of young people?
Yeah, you know what? Well, first, I want to clarify. It's my nephew down there, Deon.
Nephew,
That's
right.
coaching. That's fine. No, and it's really hard because now it's kind of more. Quincy is it's where we grew up, and it's our home, and so we just continue to encourage the young people. We really we raise funds there, but we really have enough. I mean, we got people that have supported it so that it's been successful. For me, I'm always just looking for opportunities to give other young people opportunity and hope. And so what we right now, what you can do is just continue to pray for me. I am in ministry. I am a pastor of a church. And so we've got some endeavors that we're taking on now. And you can go visit my site at www.walkingingrace.cc. And that's where our website to our ministry, or at Facebook or Walking in Grace Community Church. And you can see some of the things we have going on. And surely you can go there and send me a chat or a message, any one of those sites, and I can send you a note in some areas. We're always trying to encourage our youth. We're always trying to fund some summer camps and some different things that we do now. I try to do as much as I can with basketball. I kind of, with the FCA, I sponsor a couple of people over there that are working in the basketball area. And so I'm kind of branched out too, because my time has kind of become more focused on other things. But I will never give up trying to encourage people with the game of basketball. It's just done so much in my life, just like you said, trying to build into us, not just getting an education, but making a means out of life so that we can have a comfortable lifestyle and be able to provide for our kids. I'm at the season of life where I'm in the grandparent seasoning, and it's a great season. All of my kids have college educations, all of them, but one have master's degrees. And so I've been blessed that they have followed, in my footsteps in terms of purpose and working toward education and things to not just make them better, but they're all committed to the community and serving other people and being leaders and examples. And so that's what I'm about today. And I utilize the basketball as much as I can. But if you go to either one of those sites, you can probably find some things there that if you want to know what I'm doing or how you might be able to support that, visit there, and then we can see individually what you might be able to help with.
So it's www.walkingingracecc.com.
No, it's www.walkingingrace, one word, .cc. So it is just .cc.
Okay.
No com involved in that one. It's a .cc.
Okay. No. I wanted to make sure, because I'm going over there, especially because I'd like to take, part of my time, of course, with my job with an S, keep me busy, but I always love encouraging and working with and being a part, if it's mentoring or anything like that. And with you and I living close together in our community, I would love to be involved if you have something going on of that nature. And of course, Illini Nation, if you're listening, as you said, there are certain things that need, to raise funds to help young people. Make sure you listen. But so I will definitely be on there, and would love to see what you're doing. So, I mean, you had a great career on the court, off the court. Now you inspire in life. I need you to put your basketball hat back on and give me a little bit about Illinois basketball today, because I know you're a big fan. You've been to multiple games pre-COVID. I would see you sitting up there in the stands, of course. And actually, you even came down and joined us on the radio a couple times as the halftime guest. So you've seen it. We've hit a little slippage here over the last couple of games. What's your thought process, one, on where the team is, and if you see some things that may be able to help them come out of this funk?
Well, let me say, first of all, I think I'm not just a big fan. I'm a staunch fan. I'm a supporter. I'm going to always bleed orange and blue,
yes,
and support the program in any way I can. But I definitely watch the games. Right now, I mean, first of all, I think they have had some great moments this year where we've been able to see the potential that they have, and like all great teams, I think there just has to be some consistency developed in taking care of the ball, some of the shot selection at certain times of the game, and then a little more defensive intensity, more consistent. They've become a good defensive team, but I think that those are the areas that I see that they haven't been able to sustain them for that 40 minutes, but they're growing. They play with the 4 guards, and I played with 3 guards. I think that it becomes more challenging at certain times. But when I look at them, and here's some of the things that I think that I would like to see them do more of, and that is get that ball into Kofi. I haven't looked at the stats. He's shooting 70% from the field. I mean, but he's only getting 10 shots a game, less than 10 shots a game. So I would say that, through periods, especially like they've had a few periods where it's been droughts on scoring. Mm-hmm. That's when a big man, someone like yourself, I can tell you, if I'm in the game and I got Deon on my court, and I reach the droughts where I see the 1 minute, 2 minute we don't score, I'm going directly into the big man. And I think that some of that in their strategy, as for the players on the floor to realize that at times and I know AO has had a tremendous season, and I think sometimes you've got to go in that inside out and give AO an opportunity to not have to always be under the pressure to create something. But I think if we can get it inside during those droughts and then bring it back out to AO, I think they'll find some methodology of working through the droughts, because that's a challenge for every team, is how to stay consistent and avoid the droughts and scoring. And then defensively, I think they're like a lot of teams. It's just being able to sustain the intensity at certain points of the game. They've definitely stepped up defensively this year. They're playing a whole lot better, but there's been just some lack of focus during certain times of the game that I thought had cost them a little bit of their success that they've achieved. But overall, I love the mix that they have. I surely would like to see them play big a little bit more. Some of our bigger people, just because some of the athletic teams that have come in have had bigger players, and I think at that small forward, power forward position that we sometimes match up with, we give up a little bit of size, which I think hurts us on the boards in some of those games. But those are the things I would encourage them. I would also encourage them, keep looking for your shot. I think I know Miller, is a great 3-point shooter. He has got to stay aggressive. He's got to look for shots. And then, it's always important to try to maybe get a few easier shots, take some closer in shots to get yourself comfortable, and then, back up and get that 3 in. So those are just some of the things I've seen that I like where they're at. The program, I like where it's at. I think we got players coming in. Definitely the talent level has risen, and now you just hope that you start to see that we win games we should be winning, and we don't lose games that we should be winning. I think that's just my little input on it.
No, I agree, and that's always where that growth comes in, is seeing that progression, as you mentioned. One, the consistency, winning the games that you're supposed to win, and that's more of a there's a mentality when you come out and you're like, okay, we're supposed to win this game. Let's step on these guys' necks and get it done. And I think sometimes that's the difference between our generation and this generation. Guys play the game more instead of competing and fighting at the game more. But I got to ask you this: from one point guard about another point guard, right now, Andre Cabello is leading the Big Ten in assists. And I have been quoted on the radio saying if this kid stays 4 years, Bruce Douglas's record might finally be challenged. What do you think about the young man that you've seen him so far?
I like him an awful lot. And somebody asked me that on Facebook a couple of weeks ago on one of the line. I like Carbelo's game. He's first of all, one of the things he brings to the floor is he is a true point guard. He's someone who comes out looking to create, looking for opportunities for other people. He's a great facilitator, and if you get open, he gets you the ball. And that's the sign of a great point guard. And so I would love to see him get that record. Stay 4 years, Mr. Carbello, get that record. Records are made to be broken. I would have a lot of pride in seeing someone that has a great game, that loves the game, and really when he comes on the floor, you can see the difference in how we operate. And I think that's some of what they need. They need someone who's out there kind of directing traffic, and when he shows up, I start to see people try to get open. I start to see people move to places because they know if they get there that the ball's going to be there. And so I do like his game. I think he's a bright spot for them this year in terms of how the future is going to look in their play from a point guard perspective.
Yeah, he definitely brings a lot of energy, and like you said, he changes you could see the overall energy of the team change when he steps on the court. I think he also, after talking to him the first time before he signed, he was on his visit, and one of the things he said is what you said. He looks to make people on the court better. And that's the true sign of a point guard, is because your first thought is not about you. It's about the team, and it's about, making everyone else on the court better. So I love that young man. You see our freshmen, our core freshmen right now. And I think a lot of our down periods come during the year because we don't have an Andre Felice. We don't have a Kipper Nichols, meaning we don't have seniors to step in that development. I think as our freshmen continue to develop, Cabello, Miller, Coleman Hawkins, as they continue to develop, where do you think this team could be? I personally think they could push for a Final Four, but it really is going to take that development of our freshmen to supplement Io and Kofi.
Yeah, the potential's there, no question. But that's the key factor, is their development. For Carbello, he's great making decisions late in the game, being able to slow down when we need to slow down, and being able to speed up when we should be speeding up. Those things for him and developing later in the season is going to be big. Our big men, we need some bigger, some of our freshmen to come off. Miller, we need him to develop in his confidence, to stay confident. You're going to miss some shots. It's standard for freshmen. We go through these parts of the season where we don't play as well as we like, we don't shoot as well as we like, but we play through it. And you're exactly right. If they're going to be the Final Four team, it's going to be because of the freshmen and their development, what they can bring into the game, so that we don't lose when they come in, but that we can pick up momentum. And by the end of the season, they will be veterans. That we don't call them freshmen. And if they're playing up to their potential, Illinois could be a Final Four team. I think everybody knows that. The challenge is, can we get those players developed? Can we find the right chemistry for them when they're out there over the long haul, so that it's more consistent, the intensity is sustained longer, and that takes a little bit of toughness. It takes like you said, thinking through the game a little bit. But man, yeah, I definitely think they got the potential, and we're going to see what those young players do.
Oh yeah, well, we're gonna start tonight. Like I said, I'm actually in the State Farm Center right now, getting ready to broadcast tonight's game against Penn State. We're gonna have to take a step forward. But Bruce, I want to tell you, my man, thank you so much for joining me tonight on Champaign on Ice. It is always a pleasure to talk to you. Is there one thing? Well, not one thing. I want to give you the mic now to talk to the people about, how you feel about being an Illini, and if you have any words that you may want to close us out on.
Well, let me just say, first of all, being an Illini is a special, it's not just a special feeling, but it's we're a part of a special group, especially as a basketball player that played there. It's a great university. I thank all of the support, all the fans, not just through my years, but all of the fans there now, that have made Illinois what it is. It is a special place because of the people that come, the support system. I think they got great leadership through Josh. I think we've got great history with the players that we have. I think we've got the right coach in place. I think that the talent that we see there now, all of these things are coming together, but they only come together as we consistently support what is going on the court and off the court. And so for me, I want to just continue to support those players on and off the court, let everyone know that being a part of the Illinois family is something special, and it's something that I'm going to continue to cherish. And I just hope that we continue to be patient as we support them, because this is not a sprint, it's a journey. And I think we have everything in place to one day be journeying at this high level every year. And that's how it was in the 80s. I'm going to say that we ventured to that tournament and to a high level, and I think we're on our way back there. So that's what I want to say. I want to thank you, Deon, for having me. Illinois it's not just my place. My wife is in Illinois. My oldest son, my youngest son went there. My oldest son graduated from there. So we have deep roots there, and we're hoping. I got 5 grandkids, and somewhere in this next generation, I'm going to send some more people to Illinois. So just thanks for having me, and it's been a pleasure being with you.
Well, Bruce, again, it's my pleasure. You are, you're one of those giants whose footsteps I walked in when I came on this campus, and now we got some young people walking in ours. And I agree with you 100%. This is a special place. We have the right leadership in place to make it an even more special place. And as the talent continues to rise, our program will continue to rise. So again, Bruce, thank you very much. Illini Nation, you heard it, www.Walking in Grace CC. Go on and check out my man, because I know I am. And we're going to close out tonight. Do not forget to look. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify Podcasts. Like as well as subscribe. And do not forget, press that button for the Field of 68 Media as well. And check out the new Field of 68 Media on YouTube, the new channel. Get new new episodes and new information and just new shows. Follow on Spotify, Apple, as well as YouTube TV. Appreciate you again, Bruce. This is Deon Thomas closing out this episode of Champaign on Ice. Love, peace, and hair grease.